Hello, welcome once again to the HPE Africa News Desk here on Two Wheels, and this week we'll be concentrating on road racing. So we're going to head across to the Red Star Raceway, where recently was held the opening race of the Northern Regions Championship, and we're going to be covering Formula Extreme, but first up, the GP 125 class.
Thanks, Matt, and we're at Red Star Raceway for the first race of the 125s, brought by Pole Position Travel. I'm Denver Biggs, and in the hot seat next to me is Robert Portman.
Thanks, Denver. On first place, we have Brad Binder, followed by his brother Darren Binder, Adolf Boshoff in third, and Michael White in fourth.
And in fifth, we got Malcolm Rudman, Keegan Ike, Alessio Coccioni, and Taylor Varkanar. And they're off with the start of the race, and a couple of guys are getting a bit of a box start there. Robert, what happened?
Yeah, it looks like Keegan Ike's got a bog of a start, and his dad's had to come on and give him a push. But out front, it looks like Darren Binder's hit the front, the younger of the Binder brothers, followed by Anthony Shelley, who came from ninth and last place on the grid to hit second onto the back straight. That's a brilliant start.
Absolutely, and him, a son of Wayne Shelley, the master tuner and drag racer and beer drinker, I think he is, Rob.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, and the man who walks around the pits with his t-shirt off. Brad Binder slipping into second. Now Brad, as we know, representing South Africa in the Red Bull Rookies Cup this year, so got to be the favourite to walk the races here, but it's good practice for his Red Bull Rookies Cup.
Absolutely, and you see him playing with his younger brother there and just showing what racecraft is all about, and that's a wonderful thing about these GP 125s. And I really, really wish that we could get more bikes into this form of racing, because this is the kick-off start for the major stuff that ends up in MotoGP racing.
Absolutely. Still Darren Binder out front, but Brad Binder's got to make he's going to make his move anytime soon. He is a couple of seconds faster than anyone else, and there he goes into first place in the tight right-hander onto the back straight.
And I'm so impressed with the ride by Anthony Shelley. From ninth on the grid, he's got himself up and worrying the man in second place, and that's Darren Binder. And he's all over the back of him. And don't forget that Darren Binder's got some racecraft experience. Compliments of his older brother, who's racing in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. And you can see that by the way he's out in front there, Rob.
Also, Darren Binder is a 2010 champ from last year. So, yeah, he does have the racecraft. That's Michael White. Terrible start for him from fourth on the grid all the way back. But, yeah, Brad Binder out front. This guy's so determined to get down to the 202 mark, which will put him like on the front row in most of the superbike classes here.
And indeed, the only person that's breaking twos is AJ Fenter out there on the track in the superbike class. But that just shows you the talent of this in this form of racing.
Yeah, Brad Binder, he's stretched the lead, he's got out front. Like I said, he's using this as more of a practice for his Red Bull Rookies Cup this year. He's so determined to go over there and win that championship, and this is just gearing him up for that. And what an amazing and a true talent, and I can't wait to see this guy on the international scene again.
Indeed, and he's got all our backing, as well as the backing of the event sponsors, Pole Position Travel. They sponsor all his travel, and a big thank you and a big shout out to them. It's awesome to see people backing our guys overseas, and let's just hope we end up with somebody in MotoGP.
Looks like Darren Binder still in second, followed by Anthony Shelley. And as far as I know, Anthony Shelley literally decided on the day that he was going to ride the GP bike. That's why he was at the back of the grid, because I don't even think he qualified. And he's right up there in third place, hounding this man, the tiniest of little guys, who's our 2010 champ.
Great stuff to see from Anthony Shelley. Just a question there, Rob. I see all these guys on the Honda RS125s. Is there a reason for that? Are there no other competitive bikes out there?
I don't think there is any more competitive bikes, especially in this price range. I know a lot of guys, you know, the bikes have been made available this year from previous riders, so really the only bike to have. If you don't have one of those, you're really going to battle in the class. So Honda doing a great job. Here's Michael White again, just making up for a terrible start. A man from Durban, Malcolm Rudman. He's also doing really well. I think it's his first time here at Red Star Raceway.
And a great race by him. And also keeping an eye out there for number 56, and that's Keegan Ike. And Keegan, the son of the famous Thomas Ike.
That said, after his terrible start, it looks like his dad launched him and made him go 5 seconds faster on one lap, because he's made up a hell of a lot of places, and he looks like he's catching the man in front of him on that blue bike.
Indeed, from Thomas Ike's height, he probably
launched him into turn one.
Launched him into turn one, indeed. And right at the back there's Taylor Varkanar, and he was in the second row of the grid, so he needs to get himself back up there and amongst the front runners. But it's still early days in the season. This is the first race, I understand, so there's a lot of teething problems as well as a lot of butterflies amongst these youngsters.
Yes, Denver, there's nothing worse than trying to launch one of these GP 125s off the line. You think you got it perfect, and as you drop the clutch, the thing just bogs down, and you got to pull the clutch back in and play with it so much. So a lot of these kids still have to get used to that, and that's what happened. But this guy's got it all sorted out. Brad Binder out front, setting some of the fastest lap times you'll probably ever see at this racetrack on that little GP 125.
And just bear in mind that these RS125s are not that easy to ride around a very tight track like this. There's a very long first gear in these bikes, and you'll actually hear in the background noises they're having to slip that clutch coming out of some of the really tight turns. So not an easy move.
Yeah, it is very difficult. Out comes the checkered flag. Brad Binder going to win this thing by about 4 days, ahead of his brother Darren Binder and Anthony Shelley. A great ride to come through in third place. It looks he's not going to be able to get Darren Binder. This is the last turn coming onto the front straight.
And let's cross over and let's see what the two brothers, the two stars of tomorrow, have to say.
Darren, the Heartbreak Kid Binder, 2010 125cc regional champion. Tell us how you enjoyed your Red Star experience today.
It was really nice. The track felt great. The bike was awesome. Thanks to Des and my dad. Thanks.
Scripted. Moving on to his brother, Brad Binder, representing basically South Africa again overseas in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Just tell us your ambitions for that. You did really well last year, and just the guys backing you to go over there.
Yeah, like last year I thought I did quite well. I ended up first in the championship. This year I have to win it. There's no other way. I want to get into MotoGP so bad, so I think this is sort of my last chance to get in.
Well, you've got the talent. We saw you last year in the National 600s. Even beat me, which was disgusting, but anyway. Girlfriend-wise, you got a girlfriend?
No, not this stage.
Bikes or girls?
Both.
That was the right on.
To race 2 of the GP125 class, sponsored by Pole Position Travel. The grid lines up the same as in race 1, so let's hope that these kids can launch these bikes off the grid this time.
And understart, as always, the only difference is that Brad Binder is starting from the back of the grid. Maybe just a sporting gesture, but look at the start he gets. And also a cracker of a start there by Adolf Buschhoff and Michael White. Great through that first corner all safely. Great to see.
Coming onto the back straight there, I think it's the same 3 as in race 1. Darren Binder followed by Brad Binder. Amazing start from the back of the grid. I think he maybe hopped onto his spare bike, that's why he's had to start at the back of the grid. Anthony Shelley, another great start in third place there.
And let's just hope that he keeps those great starts up in the Red Bull Rookie Cup that he's going to be racing overseas this year. Again, wonderful to see our talent overseas, and let's hope he goes all the way to MotoGP.
He looks like Brad Binder's hit the front there, so pretty much same scenes as race 1. He's going to head out and win by miles, but the battle for second place is going to be good this race. Darren Binder has got to really watch himself with Anthony Shelley right on his tailpipe, as you can see there.
And great to see how smooth Anthony Shelley has become on this GP125 bike. It's really the way to ride these bikes, that you have to keep your lines at an absolute maximum.
Malcolm Rudman, all the way down from Durban, back in racing. He also hasn't been involved for a couple of years. You can see on one of the older generation Hondas, but doing a great job there in fourth place.
Excellent to see the guys up from the coast coming to this Northern Regions Racing, and the Northern Regions Racing growing in leaps and bounds with the help of Corin Landy, Christo Readers, Amanda the Gym Man. They're all helping promote it, doing shows out in townships even. They were out at Mapunya Mall not so long ago. Great to see.
It was a real great event. Brad Binder still out front here. Just going back to Anthony Shelley, he's the 2010 SV650 Cup champ. So, this guy's like 4.5 years old, and for him to go from an SV650 onto a GP125 and put in these kind of performances, it just shows the amount of talent that we have in Northern Regions Racing and in South Africa.
Absolutely, and everybody thinks being a 125 that it's easy to ride. Trust me, I've ridden one. It is a very hard motorcycle to ride, especially at a tight track like this. As you mentioned before, that gearing, the first gear very, very long and very hard to get through the tight corners here.
Great dice here between Taylor Wagner and Keegan Eich, both getting better starts than they did in race 1, and this is a good battle. I think for down about 6th, 7th place. So it just shows you there is competition all the way through this field, besides this guy out front.
And this man out front is showing what overseas experience does. It puts you in a different league. Look at the gap that he's built between him and his brother in second place and the man in third place, Anthony Shelley.
Denver, they say the first rule of racing is to beat your teammate. But I think with the Binder boys, it's a complete different story. They're out to beat each other. They're brothers. So it's a case of when we go home, it's na, I beat you today. So it's bragging rights at the end of the day. And that's why we're seeing the guys push so hard.
Bragging rights around the dinner table, that's got to be interesting for mom and dad, hasn't it? But the men going out and proving to the rest of the crowd just how smooth they are on these GP125s. I know I keep on going about that, but it's only once you ride one of these bikes that you realize that is the whole point of this GP125 racing. And now you know why it makes stars like Rossi.
Exactly, especially around this racetrack, you got to be smooth. It's such a tight and technical track, and these kids, it just amazes me at their age that they can pull off the racing that they do and put in the lap times that they do. Like Again, further down the field here, we're looking at Michael Radman. Michael White getting a much better start than race 1. Also, another youngster with huge amounts of talent, and he's just got to refine it and get it going, and he could be another guy that we could be seeing overseas flying the South African flag.
And let's just hope that we build this GP125 Formula Racing, because it'll be great to see a lot more youngsters coming into it. And guys, dads, go out there, find a 125 bike, get your lighty on it. It's not expensive, this Formula Racing, as they head down the checkered flag, and it's Brad Binder beating them by a country mile as we are out in the country. Indy Boss, and the man in second place is brother Darren Binder. And again, a wonderful race from the third man, Anthony Shelley. Well done, Anthony.
Great racing from the GP125 guys, and well done to all the competitors.
And straight